Right now, somewhere deep in your body, in every single cell, there's a scar. You can't see it, you can't feel it, but it's there, written into your DNA, and it's been passed down to you across thousands of generations. It's the memory of a moment when your entire species almost blinked out of existence. Not the dinosaurs, not some creature in a museum. You, your ancestors. And there were almost none of them left. Think about how many humans are alive today. 8 billion. We cover every continent. We've walked on the moon. We feel unstoppable, permanent, like we were always meant to be here, but we almost weren't. Because there was a time, a long, cold, terrifying time, when the total number of humans left on Earth may have dropped to just a few thousand. Fewer people than fit inside a single small stadium. That was it. That was all of us. And every human being alive right now, every face you've ever seen, descends from that tiny, desperate group of survivors. So, what happened? What nearly wiped us out? And how did a handful of frightened people become 8 billion? Let's go back. Way back. For most of our history, humans were not the rulers of anything. We were small. We were soft. We had no claws, no fangs, no fur to survive the cold. And the world we lived in was brutal in a way we can barely imagine today. Around 70,000 years ago, something catastrophic may have happened. On the island of Sumatra, a volcano called Toba erupted. But this wasn't an ordinary eruption. It was one of the largest volcanic events in the last 2 million years. It blasted so much ash and rock into the sky that scientists believe it blotted out the sun. Imagine that. Imagine the sky going dark for months, maybe years. Ash falling like gray snow, the air turning cold, plants withering. The animals our ancestors hunted starving and vanishing. A volcanic winter wrapping the entire planet in shadow. This is where the story gets strange. Because in the 1990s, a geneticist named Stanley Ambrose looked at something puzzling in human DNA. When scientists study our genes, they find something they don't find in most other species. We are almost identical to each other. 2 random humans from opposite ends of the Earth are more genetically similar than 2 chimpanzees from neighboring forests. Let that sink in. There is more genetic variety in a single troop of chimps than in the entire human race. And there's only one good explanation for that. At some point, our population crashed. Hard. Down to almost nothing. A tiny group survived, and we all inherited their nearly identical genes. Scientists call this a population bottleneck. A moment where a species is squeezed down to a razor-thin thread, and only a few make it through. Some researchers estimate that number dropped to as few as 3,000 to 10,000 people, worldwide. That's the whole of humanity. A number so small that today we'd call it an endangered species. And think about what that number actually meant on the ground. A few thousand people, scattered in tiny bands across a freezing, darkened world. Most of them would never meet another group in their entire lives. If your band caught a sickness, there was no one to replace you. If a hunt failed, there was no backup, no store of food, no neighbors to borrow from. Every birth was a gamble. Every winter was a threat that could erase your whole line in a single season. Anthropologists who study small populations point out something chilling. Below a certain size, a species doesn't just shrink, it starts to spiral. Fewer people means fewer mates, weaker genes, less knowledge passed on, until the whole thing quietly collapses. Our ancestors were standing right on the edge of that spiral. By every rule of nature, they should have gone over it. Here's the part most people don't know. We weren't near the top of the food chain when this happened. We were clinging to the bottom. Hunted, hungry, freezing. One bad season, one more disaster, one stroke of bad luck, and there would be no humans at all. No cities, no language spreading across the globe, no you. We came that close to being just another animal that didn't make it. But listen to this, because this is where everything turns. That tiny, terrified group didn't just survive by being strong, they survived by being something no other creature on Earth had ever been. They cooperated. When the world went dark and food disappeared, they shared. they huddled together for warmth. They remembered where water was, where danger lived, and they told each other. They passed knowledge from mouth to mouth, mind to mind. One person's discovery became the whole group's survival. And they made things. Tools. Weapons. A soft, clawless creature learned to sharpen stone into a blade, to wrap itself in animal hide, to carry fire through the freezing dark. Fire that warmed them. Fire that cooked food, unlocking energy their bodies desperately needed. Fire that pushed back the night and everything hunting in it. While the volcanic winter killed off stronger, faster, better-armed animals, our weak little ancestors did the one thing evolution had quietly been building toward. They outthought the apocalypse. And here's the reframe that changes the whole story. We don't survive because we're powerful. We survive because we're connected. Every other predator relies on its body. We rely on each other. That desperate group huddled in the cold didn't have strength. They had something rarer. They had each other, and they had ideas. And it turned out that was the most powerful survival tool the planet had ever seen. Think about what that means. Everything you are, everything humans have ever built, came from a few thousand people who refused to give up when the sky went dark. Every song, every invention, every language on Earth, all of it survived on a thread thinner than we can imagine. Now, some scientists debate the details. A few argue the Toba eruption wasn't as deadly as once thought, that our numbers may have dipped for other reasons over a longer stretch of time. And that's worth knowing. The exact cause is still being studied, but the bottleneck itself, that near erasure written into our genes, that part is real. Our DNA remembers a moment when we almost ended. And it didn't only happen once. Our ancestors faced ice ages, famines, disease, and predators for tens of thousands of years. Again and again, humanity was pushed to the edge. And again, that same strange power, cooperation, memory, imagination, pulled us back. So let's return to that scar hidden inside your cells, the one written into your DNA. It isn't just damage, it's a record, proof that you come from survivors. From people who stared into the darkest night the species ever faced and lived to see morning. And here's the reflection that lands hardest. We walk around today feeling permanent, feeling like we were always going to make it. But we weren't. We were nearly nothing. A few thousand shivering people at the end of the world. You are not here because your ancestors were the strongest. You are here because they held on to each other. Because when the sky went black and the cold crept in, they chose to share warmth instead of hoarding it, to pass on knowledge instead of dying with it. Every human alive is a descendant of that choice. 8 billion people, all carrying the memory of the few thousand who almost weren't. So the next time you feel small, remember what small really means. Remember the stadium that once held the entire human race, and remember that they made it through, because you are the proof.